What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to give you my review and thoughts on using the brand new Coros Vertex 2 in silver. This is the new device from Coros and it's something I've been using for the past month or so, and I'm not a super athlete, I'm just a regular person, so I'm going to give you my thoughts as a regular person on using the Vertex 2. Let's get into this and I'm going to tell you more about it. Right off the bat, one of the best experiences of unboxing a product has to go to Coros. They always know how to do a nice packaging, and they always know how to give you something a little bit extra, like this waterproof case here. So every Vertex 2 comes with this waterproof case that you can use for your future adventures, and it's a cool little offering for the $700 device, and I think more manufacturers should do this. More manufacturers should give us a little extra perk inside of the box there. But that's basically it when it comes to the unboxing. They do an excellent job, and I had to give them credit. I had to give them a shout out for that. Just taking a look at the overall design of the Vertex 2, this is a large watch and there's no getting around it. If you're not a fan of large watches, unfortunately they don't offer a smaller size, but if you're like me and you like those larger devices on your wrist, I think the Coros Vertex 2 not only looks stylish and unique, and it sits nicely on my wrist. Let me know what you think about big watches down in the comments below. But I like big watches. I think they're just a nice overall design on the wrist. And again, when you're out and about on the trail, running, or even at the gym, it's nice to have a larger device on your wrist so you can easily see the stats that you need to see. The 1.4-inch screen is covered in sapphire crystal and it's 280 by 280 with 64 colors. It is a touchscreen within certain menus, so if I show you here my step count, you can just go ahead and use your finger to scroll on through the different menus, or you can use this rotating crown, which I personally really like. I think this is a great way to navigate through a watch, and it's never accidentally been pressed thanks to the locking feature during an activity. So again, you can either use your finger or you can use this rotating crown. Super useful to have multiple ways to interact with this watch, and you also have two buttons on the side that you can see right there. Now again, you can see it is a large watch, but I'm fans of large watches. I think large watches are definitely the way to go. But I also want to mention a few key specs about this. 32 gigabytes of storage built in, so you can transfer your MP3s this time around. You also get maps. You also get access to the 5 satellite systems, and they can be accessed all at the same time. We get ECG, so you can measure your heart rate variability. I'll show you that in just a little bit. There's Wi-Fi built in. Now, Wi-Fi currently is only used for firmware updates, but they say they might expand that functionality a little bit later on. Now, being a large watch, the battery inside here is going to last just as long as you guys want it to. So a couple of key specs about this battery life. If you use full GPS, you're going to get 140 hours of battery. If you use all of those 5 satellite systems, which the Vertex 2 can connect to, that is Galileo, GPS, GLONASS, GZSS, and Baidu. If you use all of them at the same time, you're only going to get about 90 hours of usage, but again, no one's really going to use all of those satellite systems at the same time, but it does use dual frequency communication, so you are going to get the strongest satellite connection possible. Again, there's a lot of features on this Vertex 2 that are not offered from manufacturers at this moment, so I think the Vertex 2 is a great deal at $700. It gives you a lot of great tech inside, including the ability to check your ECG so you can measure your heart rate variability. This is how you're going to have to do it. Sit still and relax. And then all you have to do is put your 2 hands right on top of the watch here, one on the top and one on the bottom. So let me do this test for you right now, just so you can see what it'll look like, and it takes about a minute to do. My stress level is medium. I'm about at a 48 right now. So again, if you want to take that ECG, it's very simple to do on the Coros Vertex 2. I like to see this feature personally. I think it's a great addition this year to the new Vertex line. Another thing I want to mention in terms of specs, again, high-end watch. So you get the barometric altimeter. There's an accelerometer in here, a compass, a gyroscope, a thermometer, and you get maps in here as well, which is something that a lot of people find useful. Now, you're not going to have navigation, you're not going to have turn-by-turn navigation out of the box, and you can go ahead and scroll up or scroll down, and you can see about where you are. It does have the breadcrumb functionality, but you don't get any street names or you don't get any points of interest on this. It's just a very basic map at the moment. I do expect Coros is going to kind of update their mapping system a bit later on, but again, if you need that turn-by-turn navigation, you're not going to be able to do that on the Coros Vertex 2, but I still like to see the maps built in. I think that was a great addition, and it's going to be very useful for a lot of people here. The bezel is covered with a titanium alloy, and you do have sapphire glass. One of the things that I like this year from the Vertex 2 is they finally give us 26mm style bands here. So if you have another device and you have a bunch of bands, you can go ahead and switch out those bands very easily. And it just means also that you'll be able to find them a little bit easier than you would those smaller bands that they had on previous generations. So this is it. 26mm is the way to change up those bands and make it unique and make it your own styling. The watch also has the optical heart rate sensor on the back, and it is 10 ATM swim ready. So if you are a triathlete, you like to swim, whatever the case is, you don't really have to worry about the Vertex 2 in water. And one of the things that I really like about the Vertex products is this rotating crown. Now, you either love it or you hate it, and you can unlock the screen either by rotating a bunch of times or by pressing in the rotating crown here. That's all done within the settings, but I think it's just an easier way to navigate through, especially when you're on the trail or you're just at home and you want to go through all of your stats. And all of your stats are displayed very nicely with this nice little widget style screen, if you will. So you can scroll through and you can see all of your activities and whatnot. You can see a bunch of information. So right off the bat, guys, Coros did a nice job with updating their UI and giving us a more pleasurable experience, just overall navigating throughout the watch. I think this is a great looking watch, and again, if you're looking for a watch for the everyday, but you also want a watch that's going to keep up with you at the gym or when you run after work, this is a great addition. It's not going to look out of place with a suit. It's not going to look out of place at the gym. It's not going to look out of place with any sports attire. They do a really nice job, once again, kind of blending it in and making it look like an actual traditional watch, but again, it's so much more. Now let's talk about using this watch for fitness, and let's talk about it just as an overall kind of wellness type of device, if you will. Now, the one difference between these two watches, I know a lot of you are going to ask, what's the difference between this and, say, the Garmin Fenix 6 line? I've got to say it simply and plainly. The Coros line of watches is a very slimmed down, lean type of watch that's going to give you all of your performance metrics, all of the same metrics that the Garmin would, but it's in a leaner package, so you don't get any of the lifestyle perks that you do from the Fenix line. So you don't get any type of payments, you don't get any type of apps, if you will, like you don't get Spotify, you don't get Starbucks like you do on the Garmin watch. It's just a watch that's designed for fitness, and they do an excellent job at that. Being a fitness and a smartwatch, you do get access to notifications, so you'll be able to hear a little chime and a vibration when a message comes in. You cannot reply to it at the moment, but you can go ahead and delete if you wanted to. You also get a nice chime when you get a phone call as well. Again, it is a notification center as well. Coros does a nice job with giving us enough watch faces that's really going to satisfy most people, but there's not a community of watch faces like there is on some other products, and it is what it is type of deal. Unless you get an update, these are all the watch faces that you can choose from. This happens to be one of their watch faces that I actually like personally, and you get some different ways to customize it. So on the top, you can see your sunset time, your sunrise time, battery life, or the amount of floors that you've climbed as well. But in terms of watch faces, it's not as comprehensive. It's not as plentiful, bountiful, if you will, of a selection as some other manufacturers. But again, the Coros line is a streamlined type of device. This is a fitness first type of watch, and I haven't been wanting for any watch face, to tell you guys honestly. They do a nice job with giving you enough watch faces, and I really like the way that this watch looks. So again, I think they do an awesome job with designing a watch that looks great in a suit, in the boardroom, but also looks awesome at the gym as well. To start a workout, you can use this digital crown right over there. Just press on it. It's going to bring up all of the list of activities that you can track with this watch. So you can just take a look at all the different activities that you can track using the Coros Vertex 2. But one of the features that I really like is the ability to get a little beep, a little nudge, if you will, with your rest times while you're lifting weights. And you can choose either 15 seconds, 30, 45, or 60 seconds. Of course, you can turn it off. But the great thing about it is it's going to vibrate on your wrist and let you know that, hey, it's time to put your phone down. It's time to start lifting those weights again. And I got to tell you, ever since I started lifting with the Coros watch, it's really upped my game. I have noticed that a lot of people spend a lot of time resting in between sets. I think they spend more time on their phone than they do with the weights. So this is a great trainer, if you will, a free trainer on your wrist that's going to tell you, put down that phone, stop looking at the gram, and start lifting. So I think this is a great feature. I want to show you one really nice thing about the Vertex 2. You can customize that screen for your workout activities. So if we go into the bike setting, for example, you have different pages, 6 pages that you can choose from. You can make your own as well. So if you have different types of information that you'd rather see on a watch while you're working out, you can go ahead and change them right here. So you have 8 data fields, if you will, that you can go ahead and change up that screen while you're working out. Of course, it's customizable, so you can have as little as you want or as many as you want up until 8. So I think that's a great way, again, to show the most relevant information that you want to see, maybe while you're running, or maybe while you're biking. Again, Coros does a really good job, and that's the point I'm trying to make, is that if you want a no frills type of watch that looks great, but also is going to give you the most relevant information for your workout, most accurate information for your workout, the Vertex 2 is really an awesome watch and it's something I can recommend. I just want to show you the application. I think Coros does a decent job giving you a lot of information about your workout. Now, it's not as flashy as some other devices, but it's a lean approach to giving you all of the stats that you need, all of the relevant stats that you want to pay attention to. So taking a look at my daily data for today, I burnt about 750 calories. My exercise time was 120 minutes. I did about 4,000 steps. Here's my heart rate information as well. And you can click on any of these stats to expand it and see what happened on previous days. Expanding on your heart rate, you can see a graph of where your heart rate actually spiked or dipped. Again, this is a high-end fitness watch, so you're going to get all of the relevant information that you need from your heart rate monitor. And speaking of the optical heart rate monitor on the Vertex 2, it was very accurate when compared to other wrist-based systems. But you can connect a Bluetooth wrist strap to it. Now, speaking of connected peripherals, if you will, and Plus has gone from this. So for those of you that are cyclists, you're not going to be able to pair up your cadence and speed sensors with this watch. That's something that they took out from the Vertex 2 line. Now, again, it probably doesn't affect most people. It's probably not something that you used on a basis before, but if you do use Ant Plus devices, you cannot pair them to the Vertex 2. If you do sleep tracking, you will be able to track your sleep. Now, let me find the day where I fell asleep. This is what the information is going to show you. Show your deep sleep time, your light sleep, your awake, your total sleep, your heart rate range, and your average heart rate while you were sleeping. And you can use this little graph and see throughout the hours that you were resting, getting your Z's, what your heart rate was. So for most people, this is going to provide a little snapshot, if you will, of exactly how your Z's went throughout that evening, just to show you the kind of information you can expect if you use this as your workout buddy at the gym. You can see how many sets you've done. You can see your workout time. You can see your average heart rate. You can see how many calories you've burned. You also get to see the training load as well. What I think is really cool about this as well is you do get this heat map. So over time, you'll be able to see how many sets you did on each body part. You can see how many times you've done each body part from the front, or you can also see the back. So you can see how many times you did traps. You can see how many times you did triceps. You can see how many times you did biceps, etc., etc. So I think this is a really cool feature, and I'd like to see more manufacturers include that. I think it's just a great way overall to go back over time and see how many days you missed leg day. You guys know what I mean. And there's your heart rate for your workout as well. And you can see the different zones for your workout. And you can see the training effect that this particular workout had on your overall fitness. So I think they do a really nice job with giving you a lot of stats for your workout here. Just to show you a little hike that I did as well, just to kind of give you a little bit of information on what you can expect if you guys like to hike. You can see your overall distance. Of course, you see your total time. You can see your average speed. You can see your best mile, the amount of calories you burnt, the elevation gain, your heart rate, and the training load as well. There's a little speed graph, if you will, little elevation graph, letting you know the loss, the minimum, and the average as well as the max elevation right there. There's your heart rate, and again, you get to see those zones, and you get to see the training effect with a breakdown of your different miles. And if you run, you're going to see that breakdown as well. So again, as a fitness buddy, this is a great companion, and I've been super, super happy with the results coming from the Vertex 2 here. There's a whole other section here for runners. Now, I haven't been running all that often. It's actually getting a little cold, but I'm going to do an update on this watch. I am going to give you guys a little bit of update on Twitter as well. Once I start running again, that'll be pretty soon. You do have to run flat for about 7 days, and it's going to give you a little assessment of your personal fitness. It also gives you a little race predictor as well to let you know what it thinks you can do a 5K in. You can also upload your own routes if you want to. So if you have any favorite, say, hikes, you can upload that directly to the watch. A lot of people use third-party applications and they want to be able to export their data. So here's a list of all the third-party apps that you can export and connect your data to. Strava is there, which I know a lot of people use. So is WeRun. So just take a look at these third-party apps and see if that's the one that you use. That's it when it comes to the Vertex 2. I've been super impressed with this watch. The battery life is definitely insane. I'm at 70% and I've been using this for about a month. I like the rotating crown, I always have, and I also like the ability to use this touchscreen panel. Just gives you multiple ways to interact with the watch. Now, a couple of you are going to probably ask me, how does it compare to its #1 competitor, which is the Garmin Fenix 6 line? And I got to tell you, I really like the Coros Vertex 2 for the features that it gives you. I like that ECG. I also like, once again, the crown and the touchscreen. Now, you might be noticing the screen on the Coros Vertex 2 is just not as vibrant. The blacks are not as deep as they are on the Garmin line, but it's not something you'd notice unless you had both watches side by side, and it's not something that I would really take a lot of points off for the Coros Vertex. This is very readable in sunlight, and it also is much more vibrant than the previous generation. So again, unless you have these side by side, you're not going to notice the difference. In terms of GPS, both are accurate. In terms of that optical heart rate monitor, both are just about on par with each other. In terms of the fitness metrics that you get, both are on par as well. Although the Garmin line, the UI, the user interface is just a little bit more polished, and that's because they've been doing this for a lot longer. You also do get those lifestyle perks on the Garmin line, so you get mobile payments on here, which is a perk that a lot of people like, but I personally always have my phone with me, so that's not a huge deal breaker for me. Depending on which is more your style and depending on what kind of watch you want to have on your wrist, do you want a more lean approach with insane battery life, or do you want to give up some battery life for some lifestyle perks, but still be able to get the same metrics on both? Let me know what you think about these down in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.